Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to an Everton 24/7 report where I'm bringing you up to speed with all the latest Everton news and transfer rumours. Today's main story sees Digne, of course, one of the key members of the squad this season, unfortunately absent from the first team at the moment through injury. But it isn't all bad news on the Digne front, as it looks as though Digne is set for a new contract at Everton. Carlo Ancelotti did give a little mention to that in his press conference ahead of the Man United game today. And that is great news for Everton if we can get Digne tied down to a new deal. It just sort of adds a bit more confidence to the sort of building project that's going on here, and that we are really moving in the right direction if we get a key player signed to a new deal, as we already have done with many of the players, the likes of Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Holgate have all signed new contracts in the last year or so, which is great. And Digne will just be the latest in a long line. And it'll just be another step forward as the team. We look to build a team that can be successful, really. On the note of the Carlo Ancelotti press conference, of course, ahead of the Man United game, he gave a few updates on the injury front. As I say, Digne's injured, a few others, including Fabian Delph, and a number of others are still injured. But, of course, the main one was James Rodriguez, which was like raising a few eyebrows. He hasn't featured since the Burnley game. And according to today's press conference, he is still injured. He won't feature in the Carabao Cup game against Man United tomorrow night, which is bad news from a creative standpoint, but also on the positive side, we have done well in the games where he hasn't played recently. So, you know, it's not the end of the world. We can still manage without James Rodriguez. The last couple of games have proven that, and you know, we've got to go and compete in that game. You know, we've got to. It's not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. Man United are in great form, just scored 6 goals against Leeds, but you know, we've got to really make a contest of that, and I'm quite confident that we'll at least do that. But unfortunately, James Rodriguez will play no part. On a slightly more positive injury front, Carlo debunked some rumours. Of course, there was rumours all over social media last night that Jean-Philippe Gbamin had suffered another long-term injury or a recurring hamstring injury or something along those lines. Rumours were all over social media, and there was a collective facepalm from Everton Twitter. And thankfully, it looks as though those rumours were complete fabrications. According to Carlo Ancelotti in his press conference, the rumours around Jean-Philippe Gbamin being injured or doing his hamstring or whatever it was that was raised on social media last night, those rumours are untrue, which is great news. I mean, we can't be sure that there isn't some sort of injury there, but the rumours that have been going on social media have been debunked by Carlo Ancelotti, which is great, and he says that he expects Jean-Philippe Gbamin to be back early in 2021. So it'd be great to see Jean-Philippe Gbamin finally get back on the field for Everton and make what will only be his 3rd appearance for the club in nearly 2 years. So it'd be great to see him back in action, and either adds a bit more steel to the midfield. Of course, Allen's another injury casualty that I never mentioned before, and he'd probably play a key role in maybe covering for him if his injury problem persists, which would be great news as well. So it'll be good to see him back. On to transfer rumours now, and firstly, some news coming out today from Rotterdam newspaper Algemeen. Oof, that's an interesting one to pronounce. That is Algemeen Dagblad. And they're saying that Feyenoord, of course, one of Rotterdam's main clubs, are looking to bring in Cenk Tosun. Whether it's on loan or permanent, we're not too sure just yet, but there has been links to Cenk Tosun moving to Feyenoord in January, which would be a really good move, I think. Whether it's on loan or permanent, just to get him off the wage bill. He's not a player who's making anywhere near an adequate impact on the Everton first team, and I think he is definitely one of the priorities now to move on in the next few transfer windows. So if we could get him out the door on a loan, but even more so preferably on a permanent deal, that'd be great business for the club and help us, build up a bit of a transfer kitty for next season. Next up, Demarai Gray has been linked from Leicester City along with Tottenham Hotspur by 90minutes.com. They're saying that Demarai Gray, who of course featured very sparsely in the Leicester City team this season, but he could be set for a move to try and revitalise his career, and they still believe that he's capable of playing for a club in the top half of the Premier League, in this case Everton, or Spurs, both in the top 6 at the moment, of course. I think that'll be an interesting sign for us. We are still lacking a little bit in pace in our team. I thought Alex Iwobi's really stepped up recently, but we could still use a few more pacey wingers. Whether Damari Gray's the answer, I couldn't say. I don't think I've seen enough of him, particularly in the last year and a half anyway, to say whether he'd be the one to make a major impact on our team. I mean, I do think there's better options out there, and we should be looking around for those. But nonetheless, I mean, I don't think if it happens, I wouldn't turn my nose up at it. He does bring pace, but I just think that there's probably some better options abroad, better value options, unless the City won't sell for cheap to a club like Everton or Spurs. So I don't think this is the route we should be going down, and I don't think it is the route we will go down. And finally, on the transfer front, we've got Sami Cadida being touted to move here by Corriere dello Sport, of course, in Italy. According to them, they believe he would be a gift for Ancelotti in January. They believe that he'd be able to add some steel to our midfield, which is already looking quite steely, in my opinion. I think he would add something to our midfield, or at least some cover that we might need in case of these injuries. We are getting a lot of injuries, but I don't think he's the answer for the sole reason that he's on a hell of a lot of money at Juventus. He'd be unlikely to take a major pay cut to come here. And I just don't think it's worth us bringing in a player of his age on the wage he's on. And I just don't think he offers enough for what we'd be expected to pay for him in terms of wages. I just don't think this is a move that suits us. Corriere dello Sport may well be a gift, but I think he'd be a very expensive gift indeed, and one we should probably steer clear of buying, unless it's very much a January sales and we get him on a very, very cut price deal, but I can't see that being the case. But we'll see what happens on that front. And just one more bit of news to bring you, which has come out very recently in the last hour or so, and it's good news for the Everton women's team, because they've been doing very well this season, and their manager, Willie has been given a new contract, and he has extended his deal with the Everton women's team. And it's great news because, of course, I think there's been a lot more. I think there's a lot more prominence now in women's football, and it's great to see that Willie Kirk's been rewarded for what he's done with the Everton women's team in recent years. He's really turned things around for us, and it's great to see us doing well. So he's signed a new 2.5-year deal, so that'll see him till 2023. So best of luck for Willie Kirk and the Everton women's team in the future. That brings us to the end of today's show. Let us know your opinions on all the topics I've covered in this one. Drop us a comment, give this video a like, and subscribe. Still a few days left to get some last minute Christmas bits as well. So get over to Everton Direct and click that link in the description below this video. And yeah, get all your shopping done in time. 3 days to go till the big day. So get what you need to do done and get over to Everton Direct. And until next time, guys, thank you for watching on the Toffee Blues.